live. Can I get a mic check in the chat, please? My lovely viewers. Just had a couple tornadoes roll through here. No shit. Like 20 minutes ago. Sounded like there was a monster truck driving right next to my house. Stuff flying everywhere. Kids were crying. It was pretty crazy. Nothing's broken though, and we still have power, so can't complain. Everybody's alive. Whatever. On to the next thing. Anybody listening here, can you give me a mic check, please? I just want to make sure that I'm heard. Or if I need to turn the mic up or down, or turn the music up, or anything, let me know. Thank you. All right, well, I guess we'll just continue on, and if audio's not good, let me know. Yep. But here we go. All right, so yeah, today's weekly candle close coming at us in 49 minutes. For Bitcoin here, we're going to close around the 82K mark if we stay flat. We've been covering this a few weeks. We missed last week's live stream, but as I said in the Discord, there really wasn't anything to cover. We didn't get to any good areas of value. You know, we did not recapture anything important, and we didn't break down on anything important. Kind of the same thing with this week's weekly candle. You know, we're sideways. We're the same price we were back in February still, you know, if you want to be like that. Same price it was back in November. Isn't the narrative just absolutely insanely different right now, though? When Bitcoin was 82K in November, everybody was on the edge of their seat, going nuts, partying in the Discord. There was so many people involved, all the randoms, people going nuts over this price action, and then here we are at 82K again, and all that bullish sentiment has gone away. Interesting stuff, right? We do have our HSI coming out of oversold territory. However, our RSI is still trending downward. We still haven't completed that bad action magnet move yet either. So what you're looking for at this point is a completion of something like this. Let's see here. Can we get a 618 at a minimum? You know, that's 73K, 74K to a wick down. Very easy to see on the weekly. Very easy to see that on the weekly. I mean, just because we get the HSI arrow this week doesn't mean anything. In order to get our oversold indication like this, or, you know, up here how we were overbought, and then we confirm that we were overbought. We need that same sort of thing down here to confirm that we're oversold this time. So we need a couple more weeks of price action, retesting this area to get our oversold dot. You know, the just traditional support resistance would tell you that 68K is a really strong number right there. You know, you got your wick starting at 73K, which is where we measured that 618. And we have another level at 61K right there. I don't think we'll pass any of those by next week's stream, so we'll just leave it at that. Now, if we want to continue upwards, we need to get back above this 91.8K area right here. And let me show you why. That was that, where is it at here? That Wyckoff distribution here. You guys remember hitting this hard for a hot minute. You know, here is our LPSY, 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 and we just kept going down and distributing and distributing. So that is not complete yet. It's not going to be complete until we hit 76K again at a minimum. And then we have the hop level of this bat pattern down at 70K too. And then just all these areas that we can easily go touch and it would be just fine. It would be absolutely just fine. You know, Bitcoin on the daily, we got a reaction off that crab pattern. That was a nice little move there. But then what did we do as soon as we came up to previous resistance? Another sell-off, another one. HSI and RSI are below 50. Again, I'm still waiting. You got to get to like 76K or you got to get above 91.8K to really make any sort of good trade on Bitcoin right now. Man, my heart's still kind of fluttering from the tornadoes. Shit's no joke, man. That stuff starts blowing around and everything starts shaking. Literally sounds like there's an airplane right next to your house. Crazy stuff. But yeah. That's Bitcoin for you. Let's go to the monthly though, because we're about to close that monthly candle next week. Tomorrow. Yeah, as we covered last month, you know, we had the HSI dot print and then monthly candle fell through it. And what did we do this month? We back tested it. HSI is officially below the 50 mark, and then on your RSI you have a double top here with divergence. You know, there's not a ton of divergence, but you can see the wicks kind of point in an upward direction here, and then the RSI double top is a downward direction. So that is divergence on the amplified RSI on the monthly. The monthly is pretty clear. You know, you have this zone at like 65 to 68K, and if you fail that, then it's like 48K. But let's take this one step at a time here. You know, there's arguably there's another like zone right there at 59K too, but like it's kind of minuscule as far as volume size and all that. And if RSI truly wanted to get to the oversold area on the monthly, it would go a lot farther down. But I really don't think we're heading to those numbers. I do think a high 60s, low 70s retest is very probable soon. It almost kind of has to be done. There's not enough demand. There's not enough demand in the market to make BTC go to those insane prices that we want. Howdy everybody. Howdy everybody. Mr. Celio sounds okay. Patriotic Design, sir. Howdy y'all. And then yeah, let me know if you guys have any requests. We're just gonna kind of go through things as they come up. And at the end of the stream too, we're gonna be doing a giveaway. We are going to be doing a giveaway. Yep. I don't know if we're gonna do one for $100 or two for $50 each. Kind of depends on how many people show up. But yeah. We'll send off the BTC monthly candle close with a nice Michigan homemade cigarette, we'll call it, for YouTube's sake. Anyways, let's get on to Ethereum for the weekly. Yeah. We are right at that line. We are right at that line that we've been talking about the last couple weeks. You know, you can see it's a very real area of March of 2021, June of 2021, August of 22, I can keep going. But obviously you can see the correlation to that line, and that line also happens to be the 236 fib. Now, if we fail that line, the next real step you can kind of see is the 382 at you know, at 1K. You know, there's arguably some space at 1500 that we could stop at, but if it doesn't, then you're going to $1,000. $1,000 on Ethereum. Unless we just hold this line, you know, that could always be a thing too. The volume has been coming in a little bit, but it's dropping off. You got a nice little double bottom on the HSI here. You know, you got divergence there on the HSI. Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to buy a little bit of Ethereum tonight. Literally right now. I haven't bought any yet, really, this cycle, other than back a couple years ago. But I think it's time to start re-upping on my Ethereum. I'm going to start laying in between here and $1,000. I think that's the plan. Because this is going to be definitely like a longer term hold for me as well. Ethereum on the monthly really doesn't look good though. Maybe I should wait and eat my words. You know, look at this. What if we get another test on this peak from January of 18? Clearly we had like a tweezer bottom there, and we never printed a dot from this arrow, so we never got our confirmation that we were oversold at this area. Also, your HSI and your RSI are still pointing down, so again, if you see Ethereum at $1,000, don't say I didn't tell you so. Doge for the weekly. Again, another one just right at a freaking very important line, very important area, very important price. If we don't hold this line, you're heading to 14 cents. That's just it. If you don't hold 14 cents, you're heading to 11 cents. If we do rebound off this, though, we'll probably retest 22 cents in a pretty big hurry. You know, it tends to move pretty quick. Even in today's, I keep saying today, even in this week's candle, you know, we went up and down 4 cents. We went from 16 to 20, back down to 16, all in 1 week. So, yeah, the market psychology is real on Doge. The monthly, yeah, monthly would suggest we're not done yet. The RSI just cracked below 50. That's not good. Our HSI did the same thing. You need a bounce like right now on the monthly, otherwise you're heading towards 11, 14 cents. Like I said, still lower numbers. Take a look at Arweave. Little Arweave on the monthly. I don't remember why, but I put a box here, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago on stream. Kind of looks like we're still heading for that. You know, RSI and HSI is still below 50. Taking a look at the weekly, I guess we did some sort of trade setup there. I guess if that fails, you're looking at like the 230 to 350 range if that fails. But yeah, it looks like we did a trade setup a couple weeks ago. This must have been the St. Patty's Day stream that I was drinking, because I don't remember this. It's not looking that great though right now. I mean, your RSI and your HSI are climbing, but that last candle is not fantastic. Apparently we entered at 572. My uh let me check my trading account to see if I actually did this. Yeah, okay. So we are in Arweave for an average of $5.80. Um, apparently. So our average is right there. Very interesting. But yeah, so I guess this trade setup is valid until it's not, right? On the monthly, it's looking for much lower numbers, but on the lower time frames, it looks like it has a chance at making some good profits in the meantime. Um, Not a fantastic spot to take fresh longs because we're waiting on another oversold indication. The 3-day looks like this. Just got an overbought confirmation on the 3-day, and your Pi 5 band is all the way down at 12 freaking cents. That's amazing. Another one that we can look at here is Radium. I know I bought some of that a little while ago as well. On the weekly, it's looking like it's trying to hold a really key area of history here. You have those candle closes and a lot of price action correlation here around the $1.61 mark. It's looking pretty good for risk reward situation here. If it does end up going down more, you did break this angular right here, and you're back testing it. I'll make that a little bit wider there, but it's never good when you break below and then you start wicking off of that angular. Just throwing it out there, I wouldn't be surprised if BTC decides to go to that 73K or the 60s range. It wouldn't be weird to see Radium go all the way to 64 cents. Honestly, like it wouldn't even be weird. It would still be a massively higher low, and then it would be retesting what was resistance as support, which would be bullish. It never got that retest. You never got that retest. Just whoop, right through it. So if you do fail $1.60, you're going to be looking for much lower than that. However, if you hold this line, one can easily set up a trade setup off of this line. You know what I mean? Put your stop loss below the wick. Something like that. That way, if the trade doesn't work out, you only lose 10%, 12% instead of, the whole freaking bag if it ends up going to 60 cents. Yeah, that's how I would play Radium on the weekly, at least. ETH. ETH is in floor discovery mode. Trying to find one with a little bit more history, but I think I ran into this last time with ETH. Yeah. But I mean, this is a fallen knife at this point, but you do have your clear divergence on your HSI and your RSI. Come on now. Just like that. So on both indicators. 76K this week. And it would be nice to just get it over with. It's kind of like you really got to sneeze and you just can't sneeze. Where's that flag at? So we dropped out of this flag that we sat here and watched this thing for like 2 weeks straight. It's kind of the reason, one of the reasons I didn't stream last week is because we were just still consolidating in this channel doing nothing. And then we dropped out of it and we just continue to get more and more follow through. Your RSI is now back in the bearish control zone on the 6 hour. Yeah. Give me a 78K, 76K retest or something like that here locally pretty soon, or I'm not interested. We either need to recapture 91K, like break through it, and then come back and retest it, and then confirm that 91K is support, or we need to do that same shit for like 73K or 65K or fucking whatever number. But first things first, let's get something down at 78, 76K here locally, probably next week. 76, 78K sounds pretty reasonable. BTC dominance. Still somehow climbing. Day after day, week after week. You have an overbought confirmation for BTC dominance, and it's just accelerating through. So we'll see if this ends up catching any follow through, and if we end up, you know, closing a candle body up at these wicks up here for, you know, at 64%, alts are probably going to be hurting. And that would kind of correspond with some of the TA that we were just going over too, right? Let's take a look at file on the weekly. That's just stunning, honestly. You got your bat pattern. You have your double bottom on your HSI. It's trending upwards. You have your double bottom on your RSI. Both showing divergence. You have your oversold dot, and now we're retesting that dot. If it ends up holding 260, that'd be glorious. If not, then see you down another 50 cents from here. But that's solid. That's solid. I'm gonna buy some file right here. James thumbnail says 25K. Oh my god. Woo! You know, that's something. That's something. Yeah, so we picked up some file here. $2.73 for some file. It's like, huh, would you rather have a half dozen eggs or one file coin? All right. I can't believe there's only 3 people watching this thing. Seems like you know, $100 giveaway would get some more people in here, some randoms. I don't know. Spread it around. Interesting stuff, but yeah. What's a guy got to do to get some views around here? Another one that we've been really interested in on the weekly is a layer AI. We're waiting for the dot to go super heavy, but man, this thing has been quite interesting on the daily. We've been playing it since like the high ones, and you know, then it, oh man, the trade was beautiful. It went up like 350% in 2 days. We sold a bunch of it, and then we bought back in. I think, let me look here. My average is right here at 2.6. Yeah. But this one is very interesting to me because of the 3-day harmonic, especially too. You have that bat pattern with the daily dot, or with the oversold dots. But you know, you get to the target one on this bat pattern, that's 1600% upside. So we've been pretty interested in LAI, and then Matic to Polygon. Anything under 20 cents has been pretty heavy buying territory for Polygon. You're oversold. You got your oversold confirmation. Your RSI is trying to come out of the bearish control zone. Um, and this is one of those OG coins too, where it's been around long enough. You can probably expect something out of it, you know, for the next market runs. Take a peek at Solana. Solana on the weekly doesn't look fantastic, honestly. You know, you have your sell-off, and then you have a bearish backtest. That candle right there, that's an inverse hammer. That's a bearish backtest of a very key level, and next week we'll see. We don't want any follow-through, but you know, I've been telling you guys about that 105 area on Sol for a while. I think we need to wait till 105 to really go heavy on it. And it could even go lower too. You know, we could see this thing smack the bottom of the Pi 5 band or the 236 at $67, and it wouldn't be weird at all. You know, look at this run up that it had previously. There's so much empty space here. Just amazing. Even if we came back to this this weekly area here, right there, 130, 117. So 105 to 117 on Solana is your magic area that we're looking for. 45 for Sol is inevitable. That's a long way to go from here. You know, so Solana from the top has already lost 57% of its value. In order to go to 46 from here, it would have to lose another 63% of its value. And that's after already being oversold. You know, that's tough to say. It would literally have to be something like this again. Something like what happened right here, where this comes down, kind of consolidates, and then drops down again. And I'm not really seeing that scenario yet. I mean, obviously a few more weeks, you know, maybe 6 to 8 weeks from now, if we still haven't got our asses out of the 70K range, sure, we'll talk about that. But we're still in a very clear bull market. Yeah, we're retracing. Yeah, lower numbers could come, but we're still in a very clear bull market trend. You know, it's technically it's been doing nothing but going up since its existence, right? Like if you were to measure it from the very first point it was created until now, it's still up like 1,000,000%, right? But anyways, like I said, we're still in a bull market until we're not, you know, and until we actually go to those levels and break them down and like do humongous moves like this, because you would need another candle like this to make it happen, where it went from $32 down to $11. So what was that? 60. You know what's funny is we were just saying it needed to go down 63%, right? And that weekly candle right there is 64%. So like it could happen in literally a week. Will it? Probably not. Um, let's figure out 105 first. All right, take a look at Tesla for the. Oh, that's on Python. Oops. Tesla on the weekly. We did get some buys in at 240 and 230. I did sell a little bit. I was kind of hoping for a better reaction than this. I was also hoping to get some more buys in at 205, so that might still happen yet. However, your RSI and your HSI are curling upwards. I'm kind of expecting a target one move from here to back test this area of 340. If not, then we'll just end up buying more at the 205 range. But yeah, Tesla, you're either going to go up to this level here and there's going to be a big sell-off, or it's going to come down like this and then eventually come back. Tesla, good one to add to the portfolio. Monthly has some crazy space to come down though, doesn't it? We'll have to keep our eye on that. But so far, I am playing this weekly deep crab pattern for sure. For sure. I'll have my stop loss at about 195, so that way if it does want to go to those scary monthly bear market levels, that's fine. I'll be out of it at 195. Haven't looked at some of these charts on the weekly in a while, and you know, there really isn't a lot of new information yet. A whole 2 weeks have passed since the last stream, and there's really nothing new to report. Still the same numbers we've been talking about. I don't know what to say. What other scam coins can we look at here? I guess we can check up on the shorts that we took. Let's do that. Yeah, Litecoin short playing out very nicely. The 3-day chart really said it all. It was very easy to go after. You know, you had your oversold confirmation there. So at that point, you're looking right for an entry. Plus you have your evening star, and then you have distribution and more distribution, each wick lower than the last. Big volume spike on this candle right here, which just so happens to be the very last peak of the last, like it's the top of the the last peak is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So and then you have your divergence with your RSI and your divergence with your HSI. you know, very easy to strategize a short. That's why we posted it. We went short up here in the 130s, and we're up like over, I think it's over 120% on a 3x short. So yeah, that was the plan for Litecoin. It's working out pretty well. Final take target, like the really YOLO take target level, is down here at these wicks at $56. If Litecoin decides to go down to $56, then great. Short will be completed. If not, then we'll be stopped out in profit. We'll take a look at Bitcoin Cash as well. Something better than that chart, though. That chart is disgusting. Yep, there it is. Okay. So BCH, you're still below 50 on the RSI and HSI on the 3-day, and you just failed this level right here. Not fantastic. You don't want to see follow through here, you know, otherwise you're gonna end up retesting those wicks like right about there at 271. So you have all this price action here. And then, you know, there's a little bit more there at 260. So really, it wouldn't be weird to see 260, 270 on BCH soon. Plus, after that, it would have a pretty nice looking dragon pattern there. Boom, you got that. And then you would have the foot here and the foot here. And then, yeah, the dragon patterns are nice. Could be pretty explosive at the 260 range for BCH. Keeping an eye on that one. Somebody remind me about it next week. I think we looked at Kava. Yeah, it was Kava. So this is kind of the same sort of thing, but it's the weekly. So we have those big angular, and ideally we would want one more valley to create the second foot and then just blast off on this thing. But Kava, as long as we can hold at least 24 cents, this thing is destined for big things. Just the structure of it is, it's massive, and it looks great. Looks great. I will be accumulating Kava pretty heavily between 38 and 24. Oh. Let's see, what else can we look at? XRP, of course. How could I forget XRP? It's in the damn title of the stream. Not fantastic price action, to be totally frank with you. You know, I remember posting this inverse head and shoulders 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, it seems like. And we're completing the right shoulder. And to be technical, it's not a head and shoulders until it actually breaks the neckline. So we got to close an XRP 3-day candle below $2. And then the follow through from there, you know, it's rough. 50 to 60 cents. Are you ready for XRP to go down 70% of its value and still make a higher low somehow? Like, imagine it just retests this angular, just bop. That would be that'd be something else. But hopefully it doesn't, you know, hopefully it holds here and invalidates and we just keep going higher. Crow. All right. I think that rings a bell. Yeah. I mean, it looks like in the last couple weeks our HSI has come clear out of the oversold territory for RSI and HSI, and we hit this pretty obvious previous point of support and resistance, and it looks like it sold off. Not fantastic price action there. But it could be the start of something great, because now we have our HSI arrow. You know, once the HSI comes out of this oversold territory, it prints one of those arrows. And then once you get the retest of that, then you get one of these dots. And those dots create these green lines that you can then formulate your trades off of by the book. So we're only a couple more weeks away, in theory, from you know, a really solid entry area. You know, if we can get another retest of the 8 cent to 7 cent area, maybe it's long gone, maybe not, but yeah. Yep. Let's look on the daily. Yeah, daily, you had the bat pattern there. Let's see. I'm trying to think. 2 weeks ago, it was the 15th. So we were right here. Local daily price action, though, that kind of looks like a sell-off, doesn't it? You know, you got a lot of volume on this candle up here with the highest wick, and then your daily candles after that just not looking fantastic for upward momentum. You had your RSI double top as well with divergence. Yeah. Yeah, it would be really nice to see 7 or 8 cents again on Crow, and then you could really, really formulate a good long setup from there with minimal risk and maximum reward. Take a look at Moodang for the boys too. I know Chili would probably like that, so that's not a fantastic looking weekly candle. Your lowest weekly candle close of all time, and it's not bullish. Monthly is just a falling knife. Yep. TRX monthly looks like it's ready for a pretty crazy looking short, to be honest. Huh. That'd be really interesting. I don't know. I'm not gonna play that though. Let's look at the S&P 500, and then we'll probably call it a night. Weekly candle close, not looking fantastic. I mean, you know, with all this crap that's happening, it would be really nice if we just came back and retested this cup and handle and this zone here. Man, it would suck to go through, but it would be so nice if the S&P 500 came back to 4,500 bucks. You know, a few weeks ago we were talking about how just completely spent, how completely cooked this looks, especially on the monthly, I believe it was. Like last month, this thing just looked so cooked, and then look what happened. Boom. Big markdown. $500 markdown on the S&P 500. So your target, I must have went over this a couple weeks ago or last month or something, but this is your target area for the S&P 500 based off this deep crab. $3,900 to $4,600. Crazy. Crazy. All right, any more requests before we get out of here? We are gonna do the giveaway and then any last minute requests and then call it a night. All right, so in order to be entered for the giveaway, you need to like the video and be subscribed to the YouTube channel. Share the video somewhere other than Discord, and then be sure you're actually joined in the Discord, and then send your proof. First one to do it gets $100. If you didn't get it in time, you should do it anyway just to help a brother out. And then just try to be faster next time. All right, Celio, go ahead and DM me uh, like a BTC or a Soul wallet or something like that, or I don't know, Tether wallet or something. Just DM me on Discord. And even if you didn't win, I still appreciate it. You know, if you guys support the channel, it'd be awesome. And then always, you know, come by, join, get some value out of it, and yeah, go from there. So, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good night.